Hello everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Mademoiselle Lynna, and you can find me online at www.conjureknits.com. Today, we are here to do the Libra TarotScope for August 2021, and we are going to be using the Fairies Oracle by Brian Froud. Before we get started, I would like to say thank you for viewing my video, and if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to my channel. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and click on the little bell so that you'll receive notifications of when I go live or upload new videos. I do try to stay pretty busy here on my channel. I do all 12 zodiac signs for the monthly tarot scopes. On Sundays, we have Conjure Crew with myself, Mambo Tanya, and the Black Bonnet Witch. On Mondays, I upload the weekly forecast. Every day, I do a card of the day reveal. On Wednesdays, we have the virtual book club. We are currently reading the Sword of Truth series by Terry Goodkind. It has been so much fun following Richard and Kaylin on their adventures, so you are definitely going to want to join us for that. I also pop on from time to time and do free readings, so make sure you get my notifications by clicking that little bell. Alright, I feel that I have rambled on long enough. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Card number 1. What is the challenge for this month? And we have the fairy who was kissed by the pixies. Pixie kisses are not chocolate like the well-known Hershey's Kisses, but the pixies claim that they are a whole lot sweeter and don't do anything dreadful to your teeth. However, if the pixies have been munching fairy chocolate, some pixie kisses give people freckles. As Brian wrote, the pixies say that there cannot be too much kissing. A fairy kiss is a blessing indeed. Pay attention when you feel a fairy touch on your cheek or lips. Pixie kisses, in fact, all fairy kisses, are to be noticed and savored. If you do notice, you will find yourself smiling without meaning to, and feel a surge of warmth swell in your heart. This fairy, Morna, is the queen of love, all kinds of love: brotherly, sisterly, parental, friendly, unconditional, or conditional, either or both. She tells us, it takes perfect people to have a perfect love. But we, imperfect as we all are, may have many loves, each one perfect for who we are and for what we need now. These loves may not feel perfect, they may not look perfect from the outside, but they fit us now. If we don't like them, she shrugs, then we need to change ourselves so that a different kind of perfection fits us. Here we see Morna in her role as heart surgeon, using the power of love to help us open our hearts when we have closed them out of fear, helping us to expand and become more of what we have the potential to be. Yes, it is true, having an open heart, being willing to love and be loved, makes us vulnerable to loss and grief. But Morna assures me, and I believe her, that once a heart is truly and fully open, even the deepest grief becomes bittersweet like dark chocolate, and there is no pain that is not balanced by the greater joy of love. The feeling of getting love is what makes us feel good. What keeps us from enjoying it fully is our desires to own others and to have them constantly prove our importance to them. Such proof is impossible. However, this kind of conditional and self-limited love is part of how we learn about real love. If you ever hear yourself asking, "Do you really love me?" or saying, "I don't think you really love me," then you know that the love you are giving to the other is conditional and limited. Morna would like to help us learn to love others without conditions, and she also would like us to learn to love while still staying properly centered within ourselves. It is important for us not to lose ourselves in others and let their desires become ours while losing sight of what we need for fulfillment in our own lives. In the long run, or even in the not so very long run, that never works out. We only think we know what others want and need, and sooner or later we get it disastrously wrong, usually by thinking we know what they ought to need. We are all learning about love, and in the process of learning, we all act as teachers for each other. Ram Dass said, The karma of relationships is the hardest karma there is. Believe it, Morna advises. And this is true, no matter what the relationship is. But for all that, love in its purest sense is the fast track to self-realization and enlightenment. The wild thing at the top of the picture is filled with bliss and is longing to cuddle its way to enlightenment. Remember, everything and everyone in fairy glows with its own light. So do we? Much of that light is the glow of love. Remembering that is so important. Opening our hearts more widely to the giving and receiving of love evokes the well-kissed fairy within. Oh wow, what can I say here? Love, sweet love. Accept it, burnish it up, add to it, and pass it on. The presence of the fairy who was kissed by the pyxes suggests giving and receiving love and intimacy in any of a wide variety of relationships. She gives notice that this is a time to open and heal our hearts. Different aspects of life may well be flowing happily together, healing separations and hurts from the past. Bonding may take place and deep feelings emerge. Changes for the better may occur in all aspects of life, but especially in relationships, which may be deepening and becoming richer. You may be experiencing love therapy for opening the heart as new relationships begin and old ones develop. Enjoy. Card number 2. What positive energies can I embrace this month? And we have the Singer of Connection. This singer supports all connections, the web of light between all beings, all particles, and between past, present, and future. It brings wholeness to apparent duality and combines all energies, uniting all that was, is, or could be. When we lose awareness of this connection in our lives, we feel isolated, lonely, bereft, yet the energy is there. We only need to be open to it. There are emotions that help us open up: love, compassion, trust, and so on. There are other emotions that we tend to close down around, unless we make a special effort to keep our hearts open. As you can probably guess, these emotions are feelings such as jealousy, anger, fear, grief, and others of a similarly painful nature. Yet, sometimes, these very emotions, when carried to an extreme, cause us to break down and then break through to the song of ecstasis. This is a risky way to go as well as an extremely difficult one, because more often the breakdown just stays broken for a long time, and then we retreat back to a more crippled version of our original selves. A far better way to become ever more aware of our essentially holistic nature is to work at keeping our hearts open, seeing relationships, being earthed and centered and connected. In a meditation, someone, and I suspect it was this singer, asked me to let go of all my defenses. I argued that surely we needed defenses in this world in order to survive. I was firmly but lovingly told, it is only by letting go of all your defenses that you become invulnerable. That gave me such a strong shock of recognizing the rightness of it that I couldn't even breathe for a moment. But then, still reluctant, because it sounded like a big job, I muttered that I didn't think I knew how to do that or even what all my defenses were. I was assured kindly that I would receive help if I asked for it, and I know that you will be given the same aid too. Through the power of this singer, all connections are made, held, and released as appropriate. This singer indicates the connection of things, especially reconnecting those that have been sundered. It is unifying and reunifying. It tells us that we need to be aware of the connections between different aspects of the issue under discussion, as well as the connections between the people linked by it. We also may need to build more connections, a network of mutual support. The presence of the Singer of Connection in a reading indicates support and strength flowing through the connections between those involved. Card number 3. What negative energies do I need to negotiate this month? And we have Geomancy. He refuses to tell me what the G in his name stands for because, he says, the more we know about him, the less power he has and the harder it is to do his job. This tells you a lot about him. His powers lie in our imaginations and fears, not in the real world, not in any of the real worlds. This is the wicked thing in the closet who keeps frightened children awake at night with eerie snuffling, shuffling sounds. But when you turn on the light and open the door, he isn't there. Brian wrote, "He exists only through the collection of our fears. The hobby thrives on fears, getting stronger and stronger until we face him. He is a sham, a tiny fear blown all out of proportion, and the smallest positive thought will banish him. All of fairyland knows this, and none is afraid of him." Hobby's job is to wave our imaginary fears in front of us, making them look as alive and real as he can. He's pretty good at this. The challenge he offers us is to see that certain fears of ours are imaginary and to distinguish them from things we actually need to be cautious about. In this way, he tries to teach us to look past the fear and see real true let truth, whatever that truth is. It is a difficult job, and Hobbia, the book, Gotcha, the feline, and a few other hardworking fairies get together twice a week for otherworld nectar, hazelnuts, cheese, and applesauce, and to grumble about humans and to support each other. The work they do, hard as it is merely an apprenticeship for the much harder work for which they get to wear a starry crown, like Epona's wild daughter and Lies of the Shadows. It takes a lot of practice and skill in dealing with human flaws to get promoted to that level. If you could hear the stories they tell. It is time to look for the truth behind our fears, to distinguish between what is real and what is just our projection of old traumas and fears into our imaginary future. By delving into our old patterns, we can see past them to a more liberating life. Only by facing these fears honestly and seeing them for what they are do we gain greater ability to open our hearts to the singer of courage and gain strength to face really difficult challenges in our lives. Each false fear confronted and resolved makes us much stronger. Card number 4. What do I need to make time for this month? And we have. Indeed. If you don't get him on the wish, you might catch him on the wash. But probably not, because by the time you think you've got a commitment from him, he's swung the other way again. Poor Indy, he can't decide between this and that, or is it that and this? If he just had more information, if he just had some kind of guarantee about the outcome, if only he could be certain about things. Well, he can't. That isn't how life is. Indy sits on our shoulder as we wobble around trying to make a decision, and just as we think we've about got it, he mutters, "But what if?" And very likely, we dissolve into confusion again. Decisions make him nervous because they involve commitment, and Indy seems to be frightened of that. What if he makes the wrong decision and it ruins his or someone else's life? What if he makes no decision, dithering forever, and that causes ruin? I feel for Indy, for he is the only one of the fairy challengers who doesn't know what we should be doing. That is, he knows we should be making our decisions clearly and cleanly at the appropriate time, and he has some ideas about how we might more easily go about that, but he is not himself a good decision maker. Sometimes he whispers almost tearfully in my ear, "You're going to drive me mad, if you don't just make up your mind." There are many reasons why we hesitate when decision and action are appropriate. However, most of them boil down to fear. Fear of making a mistake, fear of harming others, fear of losing something of value to us, fear of harming ourselves, fear of responsibility, fear that we are simply not able to make a proper decision. We need to look honestly at our insecurities, recognizing them for what they are, our insecurities, not reality. Then we need to resolve what we can and set the rest in the balance against what will surely happen if we continue to hesitate. Premature decisions and actions often create problems, but lack of decision is a decision also, and one that creates its own set of misfortunes. Indy is also known as the Libra's bane, but an indecisive Libra truly is Indy's bane. He would be so relieved if we would just make our decisions and our commitments and stick to them. Then he might learn to do this for himself and be in a better position to help others. Air. What I was trying to say was that sometimes it is possible to learn from watching others learn. Indy would like to do this. Then he might be better able to teach those processes. Or perhaps not. At least, I think that is what I mean. The Unity knows there are plenty of beings who need help with this. It's decision time. Time to make up your mind, make a decision, then stick to your commitments. Set yourself a definite time period to complete your decision, right down to the day and hour. Give yourself time to put the decision into practice before it is too late. Once that arbitrary but carefully judged decision time is set, ask for guidance for your highest good. Then weigh, consider, ponder, and gather information. If we do this, and if we have asked for aid, the answer seems somehow to fall magically into place at the appointed time. Then it is just a matter of trusting that answer and carrying it through. We can ask for help with that as well, if we wish. It is willingly given. Card number 5. What opportunity should I seize this month? And we have She of the Cruage. This is the great goddess, the many-named mother of all, and all goddesses are attributes or aspects of her. Her cup, the Cruage, overflows with bounty for all. She is the yin energy of the universe, nurturing, compassionate, and wise. She gives form and brings into manifestation the will and life force of he of the fiery sword. His is the intention, the action, and hers is the manifest reality. In a sense, she is the Cruach holding all the worlds within her being. You may see the Cruach as a great bowl, like a scrying tool for seeing past, present, or future potential, but filled with energy instead of water. Within it one may see a tower with a moon above it, a farmhouse, and many other bits and pieces of our world. If you drop something in the water, these things would scatter out to become reality, archetypes manifesting everywhere. She is the woman who dreams, and her dreams are the worlds and all that is in them. Looking at this card, what you may see here is the energy of being held lovingly in the palm of the hand of the great goddess, followed by a relaxed sigh and release. She of the Cruach is the holder of all of our sorrows and all of our joys. Her Cruach, the miraculous chalice, is the womb of birth and the cauldron of rebirth, the chalice of healing, the container holding the germinating seed. She is the body, the soul shrine that holds the spirit and keeps it from being lost or dissipated in a formless fog. She is pattern and form in the abstract and in the specific. Within her we take form, grow, achieve fulfillment, and let go of that form to move on to the next phase of our being. All of the universe, each individual particle, every being, is cherished by her. She of the Cruach may indicate a form of pregnancy, a necessary time of nurturing and development. We need to be open to her overflowing grace. She may also indicate a need to allow her nurturing grace to flow through us to others in the form of unconditional love and giving and spiritual healing. She tells us of the need for unconditional receiving, of making the best of what we are offered. She also reminds us that unbounded love and grace is ours, just waiting to be accepted. The presence of this card in a reading radiates comfort and nurturing to the cards around it. All right, Libras. Let's take a look at the bigger picture here. Card number 1. What is the challenge for this month? And we have the fairy who was kissed by the pixies. You have many people around you that support and love you very much. And don't get me wrong, you do appreciate every one of them, even if you don't always show it. Receiving public, and sometimes not so public, displays of affection are uncomfortable for you. Morna knows that this is an ongoing challenge for you. However, she still continues to encourage you to step outside of your comfort zone and accept love and affection from those who so desperately want to shower you with hugs and kisses. Become more open. Next, we have card number 2. What positive energies can I embrace this month? And we have the Singer of Connection. Everything is connected. Allow yourself to connect to others on a more deeper and personal level. Card number 3. What negative energies do I need to negotiate this month? And we get Geohabia. Whatever the excuses or fears you may have, especially about letting people into your heart, are crap. Face your fears head on. If something traumatic happened in your past that is preventing you from connecting to others, then ask for help. Call upon the fairies or call a therapist. Therapy is a very positive and enlightening thing. Card number 4. What do I need to make time for this month? And we get, in D, that question that you have been questioning yourself about needs an answer. It doesn't have to be today or even tomorrow, but it does need to be answered within a specific time frame. Sit down and make a plan, set a deadline. Weigh all the pros and cons, write them down if you have to, but come up with your answer by the specified deadline. But don't just stop there. Commit to sticking to and following through with your decision. This deadline is for your final decision. No more excuses. Card number 5. What opportunity should I seize this month? And we get She of the Cruach. Once you have allowed yourself to become more connected to others and opened yourself up to love and being loved, faced your fears head on, made final decisions that you have been questioning, it is time to bring your hopes and dreams into reality. If you can think it, you can manifest it. Despite all of the work and therapy, overall, it does look like this is a very loving and progressive month for you. I hope that this reading has helped you and will help lead you and guide you throughout the month of August. If you do feel that it has helped you and that it will help someone else, please feel free to share this video. Sharing is caring. And if you would like a more in-depth and personal reading, you can go to my website at www.conjureknits.com and click on the link at the top of the page that says, Book a Reading. I hope you all have a very beautiful and amazing month. Love you bunches. Bye-bye.